Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Margaret, and today I will be speaking to you about a new and up-and-coming web hosting service named FastWeb. What is FastWeb? We are a web hosting service that helps an individual or organization transfer their information of their website or web page to be accessible on the World Wide Web. We provide organizations web space tools to support their website creations and try to meet all professional development, designers, and small businesses' needs. We are considerably the best web hosting software because we ensure the best built-in features, speed, and support to our consumers. How do we do this? We decided to use cloud hosting as it is a better way to provide web hosting services. Cloud hosting uses cloud computing to support its services. The cloud computing type we use is called software as a service, which means our software licensing and delivery model is on a subscription basis and is centrally hosted. How does it work? With all internet platforms, each one includes hardware, software, and management to support a firm's website, including web hosting. In this case, we are the software. Web hosting services maintain a large web server or series of servers to provide their paying clients space on the internet to keep their sites up and running. We use information given on the website to target and filter the business to be associated with certain keywords and tags to ensure accurate displacement of a business target market. Basically, if you're servicing flowers, then we will say maybe blooming flowers or red flowers or any type of tag that's related to your product that will, when a consumer is to search up something similar or even the exact type of word, your website will pop up. We help businesses with their marketing strategies as they are able to share their products and services on a wide collection of networks, otherwise known as the internet, and target as many possible consumers all around the world. So some advantages in general about cloud hosting is the easy implementation. What that means is, as opposed to having a USB or any physical type of drive and transferring all your data onto these drives, which is quite a hassle for most businesses, because ours is a software that is easily installed in almost every type of device, you can simply transfer your data within your own device, making it really easy to input this type of hosting service. We also created a lot of accessibility. Because we are a network, you don't need to bring anything physical with you. You just need to have a device that connects to the network. So your phone, your computer, stuff like that. There is no hardware as required, and also costs are kept at a minimum, just because in general, if you were to buy a hardware type of web hosting, that would mean that you would actually have to have a physical device, and that is usually the same idea as if you were to go to a store, purchase a computer for 250 gigabytes. Those are the 250 gigabytes that your computer will always have. You can get USBs, you can get different forms of hard drives to transfer your files to free up space within your laptop, but you can't increase that. And that's a major flaw that some of our competitors are facing. Whereas for us, because we are digital, we have given consumers the ability to choose how much storage they want to have. So if you're a small business, you just started, you could get like 10 gigabytes and then raise it as your business progresses, which creates a lot of flexibility for growth, and also makes it more appealing to consumers. Troubleshooting, installation, and configuring. What does this mean? Well, it's a lot easier for us to troubleshoot any IT issues, just because if you're, for example, in India and you're using our web hosting service, as opposed to someone needing to actually help you from your physical end, if it was a hard drive server or something like that, we can help you from a distance, no matter where you are. Installation is quite easy just because, like I mentioned before, since there's no hardware, all you actually have to do is install our software wherever you're using it, whether it be a computer, an iPad, and so on and so forth, which is great because you don't actually have to bring that one hard drive that may only fit one type of computer, like a desktop normally. This works for anything, which creates a lot of mobility, and a lot of consumers feel that is very necessary. Um, as well as we have efficient recovery. So we took out the whole process of losing your information to physical error. You're never going to have to drop your hardware and lose your information, or maybe lose the device itself, because everything is accessible through many different devices, whether it's being your laptop, your phone, and etc. So some disadvantages that our consumers may feel in general with cloud hosting is they may feel a lack of control. Where the lack of control comes from is because most cloud hosting services do use other third parties to help organize a business's information or any other sort of information that they're specifically not targeting. Consumers feel that their information is very publicly displayed and that they don't have much control over their privacy. So also, with it being a cloud service, it is on the internet, it is on a network. A network can be breached very differently from if you actually had a hardware. So what we tried to do to avoid this disadvantage was we made all the different types of services that is not necessarily given to someone using our hosting service. We hired those type of employees and incorporated it to our own business just so we can save the consumer from the third parties and everything. But with that being said, there is possible breaks. Any type of cloud hosting faces this. We did try to fix this with our security encryption, which I'll talk about later. Another disadvantage is that while we do try to be cost efficient, with that being said, we do offer different plans to our consumers, and those different plans may mean that you don't have all the features that are offered because you may not afford it or you may not realize you need it. And that's very different from when you were to buy a hardware, because you get all the services, everything. You don't need to evaluate what your business needs, what it doesn't. You're just paying that straight up cost. You're getting everything. Another disadvantage is while cloud doesn't require any hardware, it is necessary to keep IT support employees just in case you're having any issues with our type of services, and it is also necessary to keep your old service. Another disadvantage is bandwidth issues. So bandwidth issues are usually felt from the distance between the service network and your business's network. Because we are cloud hosting, everything is through internet connection, etc. And so the further you are from a network that is connected to ours, a tower, the more problematic it can become. We try to avoid this error by implanting it as many towers worldwide to be as close in distance with the consumer and us, making it really mobile for most businesses if they need to do these activities from home or their workplace. It doesn't really matter where they are because they can access it through their laptop or their phone. But if these bandwidth issues do occur, that can close features. It can not open the app. Normally with cloud hosting, we try to avoid that. So what we did is we offered a built-in feature which allows our consumer to download their files, a specific amount of files, for 24 hours. They can make their edits, they can re-upload it. The reason we made it a 24-hour lock is just because if you're a big business and you give access to a lot of your employees to work on this, having the 24-hour temporary download ensures that you still remaining private. The information's not on so many different devices because it is being deleted. So how are we different? We offer 5 times more speed with our cloud hosting service than any other cloud hosting services. We make sure that our consumers are always happy and that they face low website loading times. We also increased remote accessibility because we have the highest amount of servers located around the world. We have the highest amount of towers located around the world, as I mentioned before, with the bandwidth issues. And we try to make sure that our program, its installation, works for anything. So you don't have to worry if you have an Android, if you have an iPhone, if you have Windows, all of them should be compatible with our installation. Another thing that makes us different is we do recognize the security breach that can happen when having cloud hosting services. And to keep our consumers feeling safe, we focused on encrypting a lot more codes and having a stronger built wall around our consumers' cloud, just so that it avoids any possible threats and hacking and keeps our consumers' information as private as possible. We also wanted to avoid any disaster recovery. So while we do have a better recovery than any type of hardware hosting, just because there is no physical component to it, there are some issues that can happen with having a network. It's not perfect, as nothing is. And so what we did is we implanted it in our specific business to have a really big amount of hardware so that we can re-download general topics or general information that the business feels is vital to them. And so that if there is anything from our side that causes a crash in the cloud storage or networking, we can help and support them from our end, giving them their information back. We also increased business scalability because we allowed for there to be more storage than normal on a web hosting service, which allows us to be able to handle businesses also more properly because our servers, our systems work at a higher speed and are able to take in more. They're more redundant, and that just allows for no issues and larger businesses to be able to use our services without worrying that we're getting bombarded with their information and we won't be able to handle it, and so on. So some of our competitors are within our own hosting type. With cloud hosting, one of the biggest competitions we have is pricing. Because it is a more cost efficient hosting method, a lot of businesses will focus on their pricings, and we are definitely not the cheapest, but we do make sure that the features are listed and that consumers realize while we are a little bit more expensive, we will give them the best servicing that they can find with cloud hosting and any other hosting type of network. Again, depends how much information the consumer has and how much they feel is vital, might not be what they actually need. So they may suffer some problems in that area, and we may suffer some problems in that area. It has been a recent trend, however, that numbers are rising in businesses switching to cloud hosting services. So that brings a lot of potential consumers to our market. As for any other competitors that we may face, there are different types of hostings, and depending on what a business feels is valuable, they could choose to use those other type of hostings like shared hostings, dedicated hostings, collected hostings, and free hostings. My partner will expand on these topics, but I just wanted to give you a rundown on possible competitors. And I wanted to thank you so much for listening to some of the key aspects of fast web services. Have a wonderful day.